and then the other on around I-75 in the Ocala area down to east of Spring Hill. No real strong circulations in those at the moment. We do have a tornado watch issued by the Storm Prediction Center from Tallahassee and Apalachicola over to Jacksonville and south to the Tampa and Orlando area until 11 o'clock. 70-mile-per-hour gusts and some tornadoes a threat there. The tornado threat likely to continue overnight in that right front quadrant area. And that here is the situation predicted for this evening, with the surface winds coming in from the south, but much faster winds coming in aloft at 5,000 feet, for example, probably going to be 90 miles per hour, even 100 miles per hour. So a tremendous turning, a tremendous amount of increase in speed. The atmosphere gets to rolling. Some of those rolls get pulled into the updrafts of storms in the rain bands, and they generate rotation. So I've given a torque on a 7 for northern Florida for tonight. Ultimately, it may move into southern Georgia with a torque on a 5 as we get later on into the night. Now, as we head beyond tonight, the right front quadrant will be coming up across, all the way across the parts of Georgia and South Carolina tomorrow, and then by tomorrow night and into Saturday, up across parts of North Carolina and Southeast Virginia. I have given parts of Georgia and the South Carolina and North Carolina areas torque-ons of 7 also as we progress along with that threat. So here we are for tomorrow in the early part of the day, at least 7s for northern Florida, 7s for Southeast Georgia, 7s also for the eastern part of South Carolina, and 6 through evening into parts of North Carolina. Then as we head into tomorrow night, 7s for eastern South Carolina, and then continuing on up into parts of eastern North Carolina as well. So we are going to continue to see these rain bands with this very strong shear, giving tornado threats coming right up the coastal areas. Alex?
All right, thank you, Dr. Forbes. Now you'll be watching that carefully through the evening in the next few days. We take you live to Alligator Point, Florida, one of the areas where you can see the rough surf, and we've got that water now on shore, and it's storm surge along the coastline here of the Big Bend area and the Panhandle, as well as western Florida. That's going to be one of the big problems. So when are you going to see the worst of it? When can you expect most of the action with Hurricane Hermine? Well, for Tallahassee, Florida, it's already begun, but we expect peak impacts between 10 p.m. tonight and then 3 o'clock in the morning. By 10 a.m., we think things will be improving from there. In Valdosta, Georgia, things have started now. 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. Friday, that's your prime time for the worst of the weather. In Jacksonville, now things have started, but the worst weather from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Friday. In Tallahassee, look at this, rain and wind, but yeah, by 9 o'clock, we may begin to see things becoming a bit more scattered. So once you get through the overnight and early morning hours of your Friday, things will improve. Still breezy, but we're not going to be dealing with the 50, 60 mile per hour winds that we'll see through the overnight. By later tomorrow, notice the heaviest of rain is into parts of the Carolinas. Then it moves up into Virginia, the Delmarva Peninsula, and even the New Jersey shore as we head into the weekend. It's a holiday weekend, but some of those beaches across the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic could have trouble weather. Saturday and Sunday. For Atlantic City, New Jersey, the worst weather impacts begin at 11 a.m. on Saturday. We expect the absolute worst between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Sunday. Philadelphia, Sunday also your peak time frame for activity, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. and on 10 a.m. Sunday to 1 p.m. that's when things will be worst in New York. Rain, wind, and of course I know it's a big beach weekend with it being Labor Day weekend, but we've got to watch for Hermine's impacts up that way. We'll talk much more about the storm coming up.
The first person